Hey, folks, welcome to the Accessible Hunter podcast. I'm Greg Trainer along with my partner, Mike Hudson. We got a really good podcast today. We got our buddy Jay Bicknell from the Bicknell Bunch. He's going to be coming on. Jay's joining us from Kentucky. But Mike, what's going on in South Carolina, brother?
Man, it's funny enough. We're just talking about turkeys, and dude, we got stomped out yesterday. We had right off the bat had a tom sound off early AM, came in, and he would not come any closer than 94 yards.
Oh,
And
man.
well, it's never happened to me like this before, but we had stuck out two hens and put up two jakes, and I think that when he came in, I believe he's had his butt kicked before, and he saw those two jakes, one in strut, and he's like, nope. So he'd gobble, but from a distance, man.
He was telling her to come see me. I'm not coming
Oh
over there and
yeah,
get whooped on this morning.
nope, nope,
Oh,
nope. So I should
oh.
have just left the hens out there and let it go.
We live and learn, and sometimes we throw everything, with the kitchen sink at them, and they still get hung up on a crick or on a fence line, and there's just nothing we can do. But at least you were into the birds, man. You were getting some response. That had to be fun.
Oh man, we got great footage, dude. We got a bunch of the hens coming in. We got the only water source around, so they were coming into the pond, and we got some really good footage of that. We had some longbeards that were sounding off, but they were so far down in our deep spots I couldn't get into yesterday. So we'll try them again this week.
Were you hunting out of a ground blind, or were you rolling and gunning?
Yeah, well, it was kind of run and gun. We taken those the short cabellos that you just pop up. It's like a U shaped that
Yes,
you can
sir.
adjust. And so I had our buddy Jay Youngblood was with me, and another guy calling. So there was three of us trying to truck a cost through there pretty quick. But then and we'll get over to Jay real quick. We got set up on another spot, man. We start calling, and my knucklehead neighbor drives down a logging road beside us, slams his truck door, gets out, makes it 5 yards in front of his truck, and starts calling. And I'm
Oh,
like,
geez.
come on, dude. And so he didn't see us already set up on another fence line. So Jay and them started calling back to him. And he thought it was a bird, so he sits down. I mean, it's comical. I'm like, who does that?
Jeez, at least you had some action, that's for sure.
Oh, it was a trip, man.
Hey, Jay, thanks for joining us today, man. We know what a busy guy you are, and we sure appreciate you taking your time to come on the podcast.
Oh man, I'm honored to be on here. Greg, you're one of the guys that inspires me. See what you're doing out there, and it just really like fires me up. And there's the other Greg too there at ALS Outdoors. You guys, man, I mean,
Yeah.
you guys,
Yeah,
are an inspiration.
well, man, I appreciate that. And our buddy Greg Gross, he
Yep.
never quits. I mean, that man, he truly is an inspiration for a lot of people, and he's had his diagnosis for a while, and I just enjoy talking with Greg because he's always got the best attitude, the most positive spin. No matter what's going on in that man's life, he is positive and upbeat, and
Yep.
he kills more turkeys than any man I know. So it's not slowing him down any. That's for sure. Him and
Yeah.
his buddy Keen.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He gives Keen a hard time sometimes, but
Yeah,
yeah.
yes, he
Ain't nothing
does.
wrong with that. Nothing
Oh,
wrong with that. He gets it honest.
Yeah.
yeah. Jay, I've been following you in the Bicknell bunch for man a couple of years now at least, and I really enjoy your message and what you're putting out every day. But for the folks that maybe haven't seen you on Facebook or haven't followed you before, would you mind introducing yourself and telling a little bit about you?
Yeah. Well, I'm Jay Bicknell, and the way the Bicknell bunch come about is what we got six kids. We got three boys, three girls. So it's kind of a play on the Brady Bunch. Been married, I guess, going on 27 or 28 years, and like I said, six kids, and we are. There's never a dull moment at our house, and that my we I guess we'll hit it later about the pink or the ponytails and whitetail stuff, but right now it's pretty much my three boys that are hardcore hunters. My oldest daughter, she got married and she kind of gave it up, and then I got my other two girls. One, she's into sheep, so we kind of farm together, and then the other one, she's into soccer right now, so I'm learning soccer.
There
And
you
Hey,
yeah,
go.
but the boys, it's fishing and hunting. If they could do it for a profession, that would be their job.
that's definitely the dream. And I'm right there with you about learning soccer. I didn't grow up with it, but the grandkids are starting to play soccer. So
Yeah.
we try not to miss too many games. And I like to know at least what's going on. But I just cheer whenever they score and clap for the other team whenever they score. So that's my extent of knowledge on soccer.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
played football, so we didn't even have soccer back when I was in
Right.
school. So
Yeah, I'm
It,
with you, man. That's becoming a big thing here, and we've got multiple soccer fields just down the street. And, I guess that's their version. They call it football. It's not mine, but great
yeah.
cardiovascular exercise. The cats are up and down the field all day. So
yeah, yes,
good
sir.
stuff. So, Jay, man, I had a question with having so many guys and girls. Which one was more competitive to you when the girls were hunting as much? Were the girls giving the guys grief about killing better animals or vice versa?
Well, the my oldest daughter, she killed a deer and I think a couple of turkeys, and then her first deer was a doe. And we had it put on, and she's like 5 years, 6 years older than the red or the
Right,
next one. And one day she walked in with the doe that we got mounted and moved it out of her room because I guess And then, but Jake, who is my oldest son, he's the most competitive of all of them. Like it don't matter. Like his little sister, he'd be racing her, and
right.
and you'd be like, let her win. He goes, I can't do
Can't do it.
that.
Nah, can't
but
do it.
but now he would like the other two girls really never hunted any. And
Right.
now, like his other brothers, they miss or something like that. Oh, it's
Oh,
on.
it's on.
He's
Yeah,
gonna let them know. But he's married now, and like he took him and the next brother went, who is 16, and they went together and doubled up on turkeys, and which I had my 10-year-old with me. So, but
yeah.
yeah, those
Nice,
three
nice.
they're pretty competitive when they're fishing. Uh,
It's
it's
on.
it's about
Yeah.
the numbers. You just caught two. You can't
Yeah. Oh,
fish,
yeah.
so that's kind
Oh,
of the way
yeah.
they are.
Ain't
Well,
nothing wrong with that. We don't get participation trophies out, man. You gotta,
Yeah,
no.
you gotta earn this win, baby.
that's right. That's right.
J-
So,
Jay, growing up, how did you get involved in hunting and fishing? And then along those lines, we'll ask you about how you introduced hunting and fishing to your children. Then,
well, when I was little, I guess my dad took me squirrel hunting, which I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure I was more of a distraction than a good squirrel hunter because I'm out, acting like I'm swinging a bat or something.
Right. Right.
And my dad and my grandfather both had bird dogs before I come along. And I'd be sitting, and my granddad had Parkinson's disease, so he would
Okay.
start talking about bird dogs and this and that, and that actually got me fired up. Um, I was wanting a dog. So our neighbor, he had pointers, English pointers, and I would usually go help feed. I go up there and hang out with him. And then one day I told my dad, I said he had some pups. I was like, I'm gonna go buy me a dog today. And I sat on my grandmother's porch because he lived between my grandparents and then our house. And I waited for him. I knew he got off work around 4. And when I seen him drive by, I ran to his kennels and he wanted $300 for this dog. I said, I'll give you two because I had some cattle at the end. I think I was in the third or fourth grade.
Wow.
wow,
And I bought my first dog, and his name was Jake.
Yeah.
And my firstborn son is named Jake. So that's
yeah,
that's where the fire got really rolling. And my dad was one because I got one brother, and my brother was into chickens and stuff like that, and he built him like the chicken condominium. I was into bird dogs and he built me the bird dog condominium.
There you go.
I ended up with um, got into coon hunting just a little bit in high school,
That's
but I had, and the big nice dog kennels that he had built, and he said he figured if if I was into that, I wouldn't be in trouble. And
that's
yes,
right.
sir.
Yeah.
I
It's
tell
hard to go
everybody,
wrong.
if you're into bird dogs, and now we got retrievers and that kind of stuff, you
Yeah.
ain't got enough money for drugs. So
No. No, not enough trouble. You got too much time to get in trouble.
you
yeah,
don't you don't have time, money, or energy for anything else. That's for sure.
No. You
Jeez.
know that I love talking about coon dogs, man. We've had blue ticks and red bones, and getting after them, and it's hard to beat a really good trained dog.
Oh
But
yeah,
I've seen the opposite in that spectrum where you'll be out there coon hunting, and that dog just gets a whiff of a deer, and it's on, man. You'll
yeah.
chase that sucker to the next county.
Yeah, I coon hunted for a little while, but yeah, I'm all about a good trained dog,
Oh
and
yeah.
it
You
makes.
can't go wrong with that, man. Just watching the dog work, seeing his passion, how all he's waiting on is for you to send him, and he's on it.
And I
Yes.
love like the deer hunting and turkey hunting, but if it's got a dog involved,
Yeah.
I'm
Oh
really
yeah.
passionate about that. I
Oh
tell
yeah.
everybody duck hunting without a dog is like fishing without a pole.
Oh yeah.
That, that's a fact. You have a really strong bond with your animal, and
Yep.
it's a partnership, and that dog's relying on you, and you're relying on that dog for that day.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I'm sure when you grab your shotgun and your hunting coat, the dog's tail's wagging. He's ready to go.
First one in the truck.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, sir. Jay, I started reading your book whenever it came out, and I almost couldn't put it down. I got the Kindle version, and the title of it is "Views from the Woodlot." And man, it really hit home with me on just so many levels. One of your sayings is family, faith, and farming.
Mhm.
And you're just a down to earth guy, but your your stories really touched me, Jay, especially the one, with your young daughter. I think it was called White-tailed Deer, Pink Fingernails, Ponytails, and Prayers. And it's a very short story, but would you mind telling people about that? Because that really touched me, Jay.
Yeah. So, my daughter, we've been planning to go deer hunting, and that was her first deer hunt. And we went to her one spot and we seen nothing, which, she was little and like it was, uh, it at that time, the little hunter orange jacket she wore barely, and it kept falling off. It was a little too big.
I
Yeah.
think I think she was 7 at the time, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And and and,
yeah.
and you woke her up early, and she was ready to go.
Except for the shoes. She'd outgrown her boots, so we were tearing. We ended up finally finding a pair of shoes for her to wear, and we didn't really see nothing. And where our house is built now, we was actually building in the process of building the house, and we lived in a house that just below it. And so pull in there, I was like, well, we'll go check that field, and I hadn't seen a deer in that field ever, especially at 10 o'clock. Because it 10. And we
Right.
walked up there, and there was a doe, perfect in the middle of that field. And there were some concrete forms where they were working on the basement. Propped the gun up on that, and the
She
rest is
let it
history,
roll. There you go.
and so yeah, that's and that was the very first story. I started writing for a local paper. Uh, it was called Woods and Water, and I, that was the very. I actually, after I wrote that story, I called him, the owner, Tracy, and I was like, "You care if I put this in the paper?" And he's like, "Well, sure." And then that's what led to weekly columns for several years. And
Right.
Wow,
that's how I
wow.
got started, and that's how the book come about.
And Jay, whenever I read that, one of the things you said was, it's not about harvesting a deer.
Yeah.
It's about time spent with family, with your
Oh yeah,
daughter. And that's what we all need to remember, I think. I think with a lot of the hunting shows and things, we get caught up, or it's easy to get caught up on what's that deer score. If I don't tag out, it's a bad day.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of things like that can play into our mind. But when I read your book, and you said it so well, it's not about tagging out. It's not about harvesting a deer. And as I get older, it's about the memories I make with my family and my
yes,
friends. And we've got a small farmhouse with just 12 acres, and uh, I could probably go somewhere else and see more deer or see more turkey, but there's nothing that makes me happier than to go up and sit in my ground blind
Yeah.
and be able to get down to the house and have lunch. My wife can sit with me. She can get down to the house if she wants. It's not about scoring the biggest deer anymore, or even sometimes getting a shot. If I see something, I'm happy. But man, it's not about killing and harvesting a deer or turkey anymore, for sure. And you said that so eloquently, and for you to have that experience with your 7-year-old daughter, man, that touched me.
Yeah, it's that's something that I want with all my kids. Each one of them's different. Which the boys, it's easier for us to kind of do our thing because I'm into hunting and they love it and fishing.
Yeah.
My daughter, she's into sheep, so and we raise cattle. I've always raised cattle. Now I'm becoming a sheep farmer, just
Yeah,
because I want, me and her can have those memories.
Right.
And you look back, I look back like me and my dad. My dad is my hero. Um,
Yeah.
and he is, and one of the things like on the bird dogs is my first bird dog, Jake. We went when he get in from work. I was like, Dad, let's go hunting. And he go, well, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. We'll go down. I'm gonna cut wood, and you can run the dog on run the dog on the farm. Well, as soon as we let the dog out, he goes on point, covey of birds, kick him up, one shotgun, and no wood got cut, but we were fighting over the
Right.
shotgun, and that was a
Right.
lot of years ago, a whole lot of
Yeah.
years ago.
yep,
And I still remember. He's like, here, let me shoot. I'm like, oh no, it's my turn. It's my turn. So
Right.
that's just a
I thought
memory.
you were swinging an axe, man. Go get
Yeah,
on
yeah,
that.
yeah. And it was he was over the wood cutting because the dog went on point right there. So it's those memories,
Right.
uh,
yep,
that you can look back on. So
It's hard to break a bond, man, when you can look back at all those very precious memories. Talk
mhm.
about, how you build a bond with family. Talk about deer camp. That's one of the things Greg and I share with a lot of the guys and girls when we're having these discussions. It's about that relationship that you have. And it's not always about the harvest. It's the hunt.
yep,
It's the details about it. Or, the quirkiness getting in there, like you were talking about, couldn't find shoes to fit.
Yeah,
It's those little things that sometimes make the memory even more precious.
right.
yep.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
And and Jay, we know that you mentor a lot of folks, and you try to get people outdoors and things. And you had a really good turkey season this year with your boys, and I believe you took somebody else out hunting as well, turkey hunting, right?
Uh, yeah, Joseph from Lynchburg Outdoors, he killed one in Missouri, and me and him's always we talked for a couple of years, and he's like, man, you care if I come to Kentucky? I was like, come on. And
Yeah.
that was the fastest hunt I've ever been on in my life. Just yesterday
Wow.
morning, we slipped down because they were always gobbling and roosting at this one spot. We slipped down. We're hearing them gobble. Uh, he's like, I think they're on the ground. I'm like, man, there ain't no way. It's just still too early, which I don't hear the best. I got hearing aids when I'm hunting.
you
And
you and me both, Jay. I don't
and
hear
so
so
he
good.
he gets and puts the decoy out, comes and is almost sit down, and I'm looking and I'm like, I hear the kind of a fly down cackle, and I look and I'm like,
Right.
I don't think that's where he put the decoy at. Because I'm confused. I'm like, what? And
Right.
then he looks at me and he goes, is that a longbeard? And I'm like, yeah, yeah, it is. It turns and it kind of walks away. And then a hen drops down and then it turns and walks back and he shoots. And the hen just stood there forever. Because I was like, well, that's the decoy, maybe. And then, nope, nope, it walked off. But
Ah,
Wow.
I'm going to say, like, he was in the process of sitting down and this gobbler flies down right in front of us.
Man.
fantastic.
The whole hunt
Talking about having
lasted.
a great setup.
The walk in was 25 minutes. The hunt was maybe 2.5 minutes. It
Wow.
was crazy.
Wow.
What an experience for him to be able to come to Kentucky and share that with you. And there's nothing like celebrating after you get the bird. And I'm sure he was overjoyed. Uh, has he taken very many turkey before, or is this
Oh
this
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of
He's already he took let's see, he hunts Mississippi, Louisiana, and Missouri, but that's his first Kentucky bird.
beautiful,
Okay.
And he said it was his
beautiful?
fastest hunt ever. So I was like,
Right.
yeah, me too.
Right.
Ah,
Well, there's another memory you guys can share. Now
Oh
the
yeah.
competition's on. Who can get a faster bird?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't
yeah.
know. That one will be hard to beat.
Yeah.
When you were calling and stuff, Jay, what kind of calls do you like to use? Box call or slate or mouth call? How do you set up your turkey hunts?
I'm a mouth call guy all the way. I got slate calls, but it's just I'm not probably the best at it, but I'm a mouth call guy all the way.
Nice, nice.
You know,
I
it's hard, man. I can diaphragms bother me. It's something about it tickles the roof of my mouth. No matter, and as a quad, that would be the best way for me to do it.
Hmm.
I run a box call just because I can with my left hand, and then I
Hmm.
still try to pick up the shotgun with the right. But man, I gotta figure this diaphragm thing out, dude. I just can't do it.
I
I'm
I
a,
like I like to use a diaphragm call, but I'm not very good at it. I'm one of those guys that somebody if they see me in the woods would probably say, "Man, that guy sounds horrible." But
Somebody needs to put
yeah,
that turkey down,
yeah, exactly.
right?
But I've
which,
been successful with it. But you're right, Mike. As a quadriplegic, sometimes the diaphragm's the best, or a box call. I can't really hold on to the striker to use a slate call, and
Yeah.
I've had my wife use the box call for me, and she's actually pretty good at it. But I enjoy the diaphragm call, even though I stink at it.
Hey, I tried that little push button call a little bit, with a wooden push button.
Yep,
I don't think it has as much resounding sound, and it definitely doesn't travel as well.
right.
But I'm like you. If you're good on a diaphragm, man, you can run them all day, and it just seems like to me it's got more of a natural aspect. But to each his own. There's a ton of dudes that have killed birds with less.
oh
Right,
yeah. And I think
right,
there's some days you can just holler here, turkey, and they're
Right.
gonna come. And then there's some days you could have a hen in a cage doing all the right noises, and they're just
They're
not gonna
not
do it.
coming. Yeah, they're
that's a
not
fact,
coming.
Jay. If
They're
they're hot,
not.
they're coming in on a string sometimes.
And
But
this year, I've noticed the more aggressive we get with them, I'm cutting and cutting them off, and it's just been a phenomenal. Like I think we have a bunch of like I guess 2-year-old birds that are, and
Yeah,
they just like they're ready. Like they come
right.
in, and I mean, me and the boys were talking like this has just been like you would think we're professional
Yeah,
at it just because when you hit them and they're gobbling and they're coming and you're cutting them off, and it's been really fun this year.
there's
It's
nothing
hard to
more
go
exciting.
wrong watching that. Exactly. When you watch the interaction with the bird and they're coming in and just getting aggressive with decoys or each other, or, when you got that bird coming in on a string. I had one last year that gobbled behind me, man. And if I wouldn't have had my seatbelt on in my chair, I was about to come out of it. I mean, he was on me and hammered down. I was waiting on him to be in front of me, expecting that. And no, when he flew down, dude, he about blew me out of my seat.
Ugh.
So we got fans and spurs and I mean with three boys that hunt. There's fans
Yeah.
and spurs all over the basement, and I like eating turkey. It's like my favorite.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
And for Jake, sometimes I get tempted on them Jakes. I'll be a Jake taker, but I swore it off this year. My boys was giving me a hard time, and man, I had four come in. See, was that
Yeah.
the other morning? One of them he bred the decoy, knocked it over, and I let all four of them walk. So this has been a big year for me. Just
Yes,
Well,
sir.
so how many can you guys take in
we're
in
allowed
Kentucky?
two bearded turkeys a year
Okay.
or during the spring. Then you're allowed like one in the fall.
And so
Yep.
Jake's you guys are still good with in Kentucky?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah. South Carolina's no, they got to be over 6 inches, and that gets down to a discrepancy, man. Look, I'm looking, it
you're
looks
right.
like 6 inches, but are they going to be cutting hairs? It is what it is.
Mhm.
Sometimes you just got to go with the flow.
Yeah.
Uh, as Jay said, I don't see so well and I don't hear so well anymore.
Exactly.
I'm on the old man plan. So fortunately here in PA we can take two gobblers, but you have to buy your second turkey license before the season comes in,
Okay.
and that then you're set. But we can take Jake's still here in PA. There's no uh, beard length restriction. We do have antler restrictions here for deer
Right.
season for bucks, but nothing with turkey so far.
So
Um,
I got a question for Jay. He just said he loves turkey. What's the best way you like it, man?
Well, my son Jake, well, and Josh too. They're both like excellent wild game chefs.
Okay.
But Jake, he takes and like make it into like nuggets, kind of
Yeah. Yeah.
chop it,
Yeah.
and then the secret is to either taking like one of those meat hammers and
Yeah.
hitting it, or
Tenderize it.
a
Yeah.
fork and go through it, and then he dips it in an egg wash and then Kentucky Colonel seasoning and deep fries it.
Son.
Tell you. And now
I
he did something the other day. He called. It was like 10 o'clock at night. He's like, I just made some. I was like, I'm on my way down, son. Because he's
Yeah,
married now and lives in the little house below us. And he had them those made, which I ate just about all of them. And then he had wrapped some in bacon and drizzled some honey and something else on it. And then he had just plain with honey and I forgot the other seasoning. I'm telling you what.
I am on the way.
Yeah, it about make
dude,
you. I told him we got some up there, or the ones we killed up in the freezer. I'm like, yeah, here in a few days you're going to be cooking them too.
Yeah, yeah,
I I might have to call him up and get his recipe because
no
we
doubt.
we raise bees, but I've never put honey on turkey, and I just think that would be outstanding. I gotta get the recipe off your boy for that because I know my wife would be into that.
I'm telling you, it was phenomenal. I can't remember what else. There was a few things that he put in, and it was like, oh wow.
Yeah,
So
we've done like the Hidden Valley Ranch, the packets on them,
yeah,
tenderize them a little bit and do the same thing, deep fry them. Man, it's hard to go wrong with that stuff, man. But I'm gonna have to try that hot honey and all. Yeah, that's on.
but
Oh
now
yeah,
I'm a big fan of just the Kentucky Kernel egg wash, dip it in that Kentucky Kernel seasoning, and deep
Yeah,
fried. And I tell we went to we had a church fish outing, and they were cooking up a bunch of crappie. Well, we'd had an extra turkey, and my son cooked that before the crappie got ready. There was zero turkey left, and not many
yeah.
people eating crappie after that. They were like they'd filled up on the turkey. So
you
Hey,
guys were eating good, that's for sure.
yeah, yeah.
Jay, I know that you spend a lot of time in the woods. Growing up, you were hot after it, and then as a father and a husband, and what's like what's changed over the years for you? How has it changed hunting, either your philosophy on that or your philosophy on life, being in the outdoors? What have you gotten out of it that you'd like to share with people?
Well, like it's not about the harvest. Maybe when I was younger, like
Yep,
I got caught up in the big scoring bucks there for a while.
yeah,
yep,
And, like I got a few on the wall, and now it's about the back straps because we like to eat deer.
yes, sir.
But, and I'll go 2 or 3 years, I won't even shoot a deer because, I got the boys, and usually I'm the pack mule,
Yep,
which this year it was like a kind of a tear moment for me the opening day of deer season. My youngest son, well, youth season, he killed a buck, and it was all by himself. He killed a deer before, but I kind of held to help him hold the rifle and get it. He was kind of helping him steady up. And this past year, he did it all on his own. And so, opening morning, he says, "I'm going to let you and my brothers have a chance. I'm sleeping in." And so I'm walking in. They're going. My oldest, he's got a stand he's going to. And my middle son, he hunts we got caught the pond dam. He's killed a couple bucks there. He's going there, and I'm going to a stand by myself. And it's been like years since I've been
right,
in a stand by myself. And I'm like, man, this is it kind of hit home there, because I've
right.
been going, Josh
Bittersweet.
last
Yeah,
year, I went with him about every time I went. And so it was one of the, yeah, bittersweet. That's the way it was, walking in, and I'm like, man, it's been so long since I can remember sitting in the stand. And it was different, which
Yeah,
I was close
yep.
enough to hear Josh. He shot a buck. I heard him shoot, and I slipped down and got down there with him. And then later, in the season, I was with my oldest son when he shot a doe. So I still got to be with him, but it was kind of rough on me. I mean, I never would have
yeah.
thought it would have been tough walking in
Yes.
a tree stand. So
Isn't it funny, man, how life changes? When we're young, it's all about trying to shoot as many deer or turkey or duck or whatever you're on, and if you don't get a kill or and harvest or whatever, then you're upset at yourself. And now it's about, I want to see somebody else do it.
Yep.
I love, even if it's just throwing clays, I want to be the clay thrower, and
yeah,
let everybody else shoot. I love watching the spark on
Yep.
somebody else when you introduce them to it. And so I had a question, Jay, that kind of coincides with that. I think storytelling in art form is becoming a lost art.
I agree.
You don't see as many people writing anymore. And I love writing. I mean, that's where you can shine your passion. You can get down, your own road. And I love every aspect of it. What really got you started or passionate about the way you write and what you write about?
Well, this is crazy. This is comes to that never say never thing. So in high school, hated writing. I
Right.
hated it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
got to college, and if it wasn't, which I guess we were dating, and then we did get married my last year of college. But if it wasn't for my wife, she's very intelligent, very good grammar.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have made it through college, which I got a wildlife degree and had to write quite a few papers, and she was
Sure.
one, and I hated it. And then I don't know, I wrote that first story about my daughter and her deer hunt, and I guess I was seeing things, like I mean, I love Jesus, and I
Oh
could
yeah.
and I could see how, like, he spoke in parables so people would understand. Well, the woods and dog training and this and that is the way. It's like a parable. He speaks to me that way, and I see things, and it just fired me up for writing. And now my wife, she's still like, I call her my angry editor.
Yep.
Uh,
I got the same one. But go
Yep.
ahead.
she'll
Yep.
read it and she's like, seriously, you
Nope.
cannot figure out where, there. And I was like, I still don't know that stuff,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you
Oh,
use way too many explanation points. And I'm like, it's pretty exciting to me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that's where, but I just love writing. It's one of those things when and it's usually sitting in the woods. That's mainly when it happens, or duck blind, wherever we're at. And I'm like, oh, wow, I see it
Isn't it,
now.
man, isn't it something, our faith blends in right there.
Yeah.
And that's just where I get renewed, man. And, I tell people all the time, it's just a piece that you cannot explain to somebody. And
Yeah.
I was talking to a guy yesterday while we were in the blind. I said, do you enjoy hunting in the morning or evenings? Which ones do it better for you? And he's like, well, I like both. And I said, man, something is special about morning hunting. That's just a renewed day. I don't know.
If
But
you looked at the pictures in my phone of
yeah.
us, our hunting mornings, and all the sunrises that, like, I'm a sucker for a sunrise. I'm like taking
Yes.
yes,
pictures,
sir.
and I noticed that my son Josh, like, I'll look over at him, he's taking pictures of a
Yeah.
sunrise, and that's, to me, I like the mornings. I like, seeing that sun come up and the birds start chirping and everything
Huh.
starts waking up.
100%.
And
Yes.
it's just, it's a magical moment. Is that there's like a silence, a deafening silence right before the wake
Daylight.
up, and it's just,
Yep.
Man.
and I love it.
Yeah. I'm with you 100%, man.
To take that pause in the morning and really be aware of your surroundings. You're not thinking about work, you're not thinking about
Nah.
all the other things you have to do that day. You can really absorb the day. And that kind of gets a lot of us going. It gets our mind in the right position. And
Yeah.
I'm right there with you guys, but I mostly hunt the afternoons anymore because being a quad, it's hard to
It's,
get up.
it's it
It's
is.
hard to get up that early in the morning.
Yeah.
If we're leaving the house at 4, that means my wife has to get up at 3 or 2:30
Yeah.
and get me ready. So I miss a lot of the morning hunts, but those evening sunsets right before it
Oh
gets
yeah.
dark. I enjoy those times as well.
Yeah. It's hard to go wrong either way. I want both.
Yep. Yep.
But there's just something to me magical about the mornings because Jay, like he said, man, everything is dead silent. Then all of a sudden it just
Yep.
comes to fruition, and it
Yeah,
all starts waking up. And it's always to me just that first crack of daylight. As soon as it starts, man, the whole world just comes alive.
yeah. You
Yes,
start
sir.
hearing it, you just hear a bird or two, and then it's just like gets
Wow.
loud. Everything waking up.
Right. What's next, man?
Yeah.
What are we going to see today?
Uh,
It's you could take an atheist. I tell them all the time, dude, you can't explain to me we don't have a good God.
oh, yeah, yeah. And I got a biology degree. I got a wildlife
Right.
biology degree, and to me, it is. so much easier for me to believe that there's a creator just because I'm in creation all the time
Right.
Yes.
versus,
Right.
hey, we had nothing in this hand, and you put it together, you still got nothing in my mind.
Right.
Yeah.
You
Right.
had to have somebody to create. I mean, you take the salmon run,
Yeah.
how that the whole salmon run, that just amazes me.
Yeah. Come back to the same place, man.
And the
That's just
bears are waiting on them, the
yeah.
birds are waiting on them, and then the ones that don't make it, they renutrify the stream.
Yep.
I mean, that's a intelligent design. So
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You can't make that chaos up.
no, no, I mean you didn't. And so yeah, that's and in being outdoors in the creation strengthens my faith more and more. Every day
Yeah.
I go out. So
Yeah.
Jay, if you wanted to share getting in the outdoors with somebody, or a lot of people are not raised in hunting. They come to it later in life, maybe in their 20s or in their 30s, or uh, if someone had an injury or became disabled. What advice would you give to somebody trying to go out hunting for the first time and maybe they're not sure how to do it? What advice would you give somebody?
well, I guess one would try to find a group like we do a lot with the Kentucky Wounded Heroes. They're an awesome organization, and we've done some other stuff with some Wounded Warrior deal. And especially if injured or something, and you can get into some kind of group like that will connect you with somebody to get you outdoors, and I mean just go. That's like we duck hunt, and there be we a few new guys come in or something, they're wanting to call. I'm like, just call. I mean,
Right.
we're going to talk bad about you no matter what.
Right.
I don't care if you're a good caller or not. We're going to
Right.
still give you a hard time because that's what
That,
we do. But you can't learn unless you ain't out there trying.
yes, sir.
Exactly. Exactly. And how, I mean, you said it right. How do we learn? We got to mimic it from somewhere. So if we're not sitting in the wild listening to a natural duck call, then it's good to have somebody mentor us. Guys
Yep.
are going to be tough, man. It's tough love.
Yeah,
And
that's what we tell everybody. You kind of come in and hang out with us is like you better have some thick skin because we're gonna be getting on to everybody there.
hey, it is what it is. Let's let it flow.
Yeah.
Let it flow. Man,
But the
go ahead, Greg. I'm sorry.
no, go ahead, Mike.
No, I was just going to say, man, life is fun. It doesn't matter if you're hunting Kentucky, South Carolina, or Pennsylvania. I think we're all cut from the same cloth. We're going to give you crap, but at the same time, we're going to love on you. And so
Yes.
let's get out there and chase these things. And I'm still going to pick on you if you get a smaller bird,
Oh
Yep.
is
yeah.
what it
Yep. Yep.
is.
That's
But
like opening morning. My buddy Chris, which we kind of met. I knew his whole family and never met him. And then he messaged me one day on Messenger. He's like, "Man, I got a lab I'd like for you to work." And I'm like, "Where are you located at?" And he goes, "I'm in Estill County." And I'm like, "Well, huh, me too. Why don't you just come
Wow.
over and we'll work dogs together?" And then we've become really good friends. Well, this opening weekend, he had all the Sitka gear on. And as soon as we all got up there, and my boys, and I was like, "Look at the Sitka boy here."
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
mean, it was on.
We
Everybody
didn't,
was
yeah.
yeah.
like,
We didn't
"Looky
know you had a
here."
sponsor,
Uh,
right?
and and giving him a hard time, and he's just, and that's part of, I mean, that's the fun. That probably means more to me than the harvest. Is just like,
yes.
giving each other a hard time, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
that camaraderie.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. And
It's always funny, man. Sarcastic dudes. I love them, man.
Yeah, yeah.
but you never really have a better group of people than hunters, people that are willing to invite you to your home. Jay,
Right.
you invited me to Kentucky last year, and I feel bad I couldn't come down. But we started talking on the internet, and before you know it, you're texting me saying, "Come on down and hunt." We got deer, we got turkey. You're welcome at my home. All of that, and I don't think in day to day life, people understand how welcoming the hunting community is. And, if you don't have a shotgun here, you can use one of my shotguns.
Yeah.
If
Yep.
you need broadheads and maybe you can't afford broadheads this year, buddy, I got broadheads in my cabinet that I've had, a couple years here. Try these out. I don't
Yeah.
think you're going to get a better group of men or women that want to share the passion with people. And like you guys said, we might tease you a little bit, and I might be wearing ground blind black instead of Sitka, but we're all out there together just trying to have fun and enjoy the day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's that's what it's all about. Is.
Greg, I get to talk to some of the guys like Hunter Share and the Harvest and some of those groups. Great, great groups. But when it gets down to it, that's what it is. All these conservationists and deer hunters, they're all Hunter's Share and the Harvest. These guys, all
Yep.
they want to do is be able to, like Jay said, figure out a new way to cook up some turkey.
Yep.
And I'm gonna share it with you if you can get in there before I eat it all. You know.
That's right.
But Jay, if you had a species that was one that you wanted to chase, that you haven't chased yet, if there's one out there that you haven't, what would that be? What would be something on your bucket list?
Uh, on my bucket list. Hmm.
We didn't throw him for a loop, Greg.
There you go.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind to get after some sea ducks. I guess try
Okay,
that
yeah,
one
yeah,
time. That would be something definitely, and maybe some the pronghorn elk. That would
yeah,
be. I went elk hunting in Colorado. I didn't kill an elk, but seen the speed goats as we were driving there.
Yep.
That would be probably pretty neat. Yeah.
yeah. I just had some friends do the sea ducks in Alaska, man, and that looked pretty cool. But
Yeah.
woo, lot of cold, lot of cold.
But
And you guys have elk hunting in Kentucky, right? You have a
yeah,
season, is that
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I've put in for it now. I don't know, it's 20 years and still
all a
haven't got
draw.
drawn. It's
Yep.
Ain't that crazy?
they've started. They don't do preference points, but they give you like there's something that helps you out a little bit more now. But I've known some guys that's got drawn twice.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
And but yeah, I think we're at 800 tags, and back early they were pretty easy to get a shot on. Now they've gotten wise to the areas that they're in. And
yeah,
in the
Yeah.
county I live in, we're out of zone, but if you put in for the elk draw, and if there is an elk and you got a tag, you can buy like a out of zone tag, I think's the way it is now. And you can legally used to, if you were a legal deer hunter on the out of zone, you could kill an elk, but they've changed that. And in this county I'm in, it was several years ago they killed 4 or 5, but I haven't heard.
Wow.
We haven't really seen. I haven't seen any, and nobody's. I've never heard of any sightings in a while. So
oh
That,
wow.
that's very similar to how they do it here in Pennsylvania. We have a lottery system and we do have preference points, but like you, Jay, I've been putting in about 18 years and I haven't gotten drawn yet either. I think they put out about 120, maybe 125 tags a year, and you have, 30, 35,000 people
uh-huh.
apply. But I've known guys that put in, 1 year and have gotten drawn.
Right, right.
Right.
And it would be an incredible thing to take a Pennsylvania elk. And my wife and I went up to Benazet in the elk center one year and got to see the elk in person and hear them bugle, and just an amazing animal. Just such a great time. I was thankful to get up there, and you know we had talked a little bit about the internet and how you and I met, Jay, and you know, you have such a great platform with the Bicknell bunch. You're always putting out great videos of, what you're seeing on the farm and things like that. And how do you grow your page and still keep everything as real and down to earth as you do? Because you guys put out some great videos. I look forward to seeing them in the mornings.
Well, when I started, we got YouTube and we got Instagram, and I don't Instagram. I like the editing stuff there, so I basically I don't really check that a lot. YouTube, I hit or miss, but Facebook is like it's where like I've met some awesome people.
Right.
That's how I
Yep,
met you, and I met like you take Malcolm and Stubbs down in
Yep.
Mississippi,
Yep.
Joseph in Louisiana. It was all through Facebook and just meeting all
yep,
these neat people. But when I first started it, I kind of thought it would be a like a place I can share Jesus and maybe put some of our bird dog videos or hunts on or something. And I quit for a little while because, there's a lot of drama
Yes,
Yeah. Oh
sir.
on
yeah. Oh
Facebook
yeah.
stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but there's a guy that he cattle stuff and he does pasture preaching. And
Yeah.
I just happened to watch that one day and he goes, you gotta go where the people's at. And they're right here. And I'm like, okay, that's my cue. And then from then on I really got with it. And then Eddie Cole from Eddie in the Holler,
Yeah.
he's actually wrote the foreword in the book for me and like he was kind of an inspiration. I've seen him on his sharing Jesus, and he was like the first person that had 10,000 followers that followed us, and it popped up, and I'm like, wow. And so that fired me up to share. And when I done it, I was like, which I mean, I know Scripture and Jesus can be divisive, but
Yeah.
that's just the way it is. But I'm not gonna get into the politics side of things and be
Right.
decisive. I want people to of all walks, and not try to be a divide people because we're
Sure.
so divided now. I mean,
Right.
Yes, sir.
sometimes there is some vegans that I try to that give me a hard time that I try to debate. And I try to debate in a good way to where I could be friends, but a lot of times they end up talking bad about my mom while we're debating, and then
Oh yeah. It's on
I
then.
can't. But um, and it's just, I mean, we're a little over 20 something thousand followers now. And I just, I've been faithful with it. I got, it was, gosh, it's been a while ago. I got woke up at like 5:21 in the morning, and it was the good Lord said, let's come out on the porch and let's talk. And
Yeah.
we talked, and every morning, didn't set my alarm. I got woke up about that time. And that's kind of the way that my first two posts is 5:21 and 5:25. And that's kind of where that meaning, and it's been like that for a couple of years. So, uh,
Wow.
and I want people to, they come to our page. I want them to feel like their family,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
and we're going to be praying for them. And, I've had some people call and just want to talk. I'm all about that.
Yeah.
There's a
Yep.
lot of people. I say you don't know what they're going through, and you just try to be kind.
That's exactly right, Jay. And you've always been kind and been a reassuring voice to me. And anytime I've reached out and said, hey, Jay, I'd like you to do this, or, I'd like you to pray about this for me, you've been just, so kind and welcoming. And uh, a lot of people may not think that you can be friends with people on Facebook or Instagram, social media, but I've got a lot of friends online, and I count you as one of them, you
I
know.
appreciate that. Well, you've been an inspiration to me. I mean, that's what I said earlier. Like when you said, "Hey, we'd like you on the podcast," I'm like, yeah, yeah, man, this is like awesome because
Well,
you
brother,
know
you got a lot to say. We appreciate you taking time to come
Absolutely.
on.
because you guys don't quit. And I was talking to somebody, tell them about this, and I'm like, I hope that I have that same kind of, if I had an injury and stuff, I would keep on keeping on.
Sure.
And like I get a little something, and then I start kind of feeling sorry for myself. I just like, you know what, those guys, man, they don't quit. I'm just
No.
going to go through it, just get through
Well,
it. So
we're
that
all
you all
going.
inspire me. I'm telling
We're all
Oh,
going
oh,
through something, brother. So it
you.
is what it is, man. But I got another question. If somebody is listening to this and they want to get your book, I know how much Greg's talked about it, and I need to get a copy as well. But if somebody wanted to get your book, how can they get in touch with you first off for prayer or just chatting? We love to tag links and whatnot, but if they wanted to get your book or be able to get in touch, do you mind sharing?
Yeah, so Facebook is like our number one thing.
Sure.
So we're the Bicknell Bunch on Facebook. We do have we do prayer requests at 6 in the morning and 6 in the evening. And the book is on Amazon. And if they can't find it on there, then you can just, either message me through that or jump on one of the posts and be like, hey, how can I get it? And I'll just send the link to it. into the book. So
Good.
And folks, if you're thinking about getting the book, it is such a really good read. It's down to earth. It's not something that you have to read in one sitting. You may want to. I had a hard time putting it down, but it's really short stories about faith in the outdoors and how it affects people, and it's just a phenomenal book. I've given it as a gift to a couple of people that I felt could use the inspiration, and they were really thankful to receive it. So definitely check out Jay's book on Amazon. It's well worth it.
the one thing when writing that, it was a bunch of my stories, but I had to make them timeless because
Mhm.
it was
Right.
set in the week of October the 10th youth season or something. So I had to kind of switch them to make timeless. And I went through that like 1,000 times trying to get everything perfect. And then that's one of them teaching moments is like, I'm not perfect.
No,
Right.
And so this
none
is,
of
I
us
can
are.
keep on trying, and it's never, and so I'm like, you know what? I'm done. It's time to put it, to get it published. And that,
Yes,
so there's
sir.
probably some stuff in there that's, like, man, I don't know if that makes sense, but hey, there's a lot of times I don't make sense. So
Hey, you had a really good angry editor, as you call her, and I
yeah,
don't I don't know where Mike and I would be without our wives. And I know
Oof.
they edit a lot of things that we say to people and put out there because they're by far so much smarter than I'll ever be. And I had a lot of help getting through college and editing, and I understand what you're saying on that. And we're just really thankful to have good people in our lives that support us and encourage us. And you said about Mike and I never quit. Well, we have days too that we're feeling really down, but we
Absolutely.
we've got good friends like Coy Varnum and Greg Gross, and Mike and
Yep.
I Mike and I rely on each other a lot. That he's in South Carolina, but we pick up the phone a couple of times a week and say, "Hey, buddy, you got a minute?"
yeah,
Yeah.
And I really hope that people have somebody that they can reach out to contact like that, especially if you're struggling, if you're having hard times. I hope you have people that you can count on because it's invaluable. I'm blessed and fortunate to have good friends that I've never met in person, but I know I can call them up and say, "Hey, can you help me with this? What's your thoughts on this?"
and
And it means
that's
so much.
something too on us. Like I'm like, you struggling, message me. I give you my phone number. Like I had a
Yep.
guy, I was like, here, just call me. Because I did, we had it was I met a guy through a Wounded Warrior hunt, and we become really good friends. And he was one of those guys that would, um, like just pump you up, and, he had a lot of problems, and he ended up, and I didn't see it coming. I just got a phone call that he took
Yeah.
his life. Man, that's really, like,
It's tough.
you try to
Yeah.
Yes,
think,
sir.
man, I wish maybe I should have called him more or something. And because he was like one of them guys that was just fire you up, but he had a
Yeah.
lot of some health issues from the military and stuff. And, uh, I get kind of choked up talking about it.
Sure.
But, if there's anybody that hears this and,
Yep.
hey,
Yep.
you're struggling with stuff,
Call us
feel
up.
free to shoot me a message. I'll call. I don't care if it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I
Yep.
will get on the phone and talk because I figure everybody matters. They
Yes.
they,
Yes,
they
sir.
have value. You might not think it sometimes, but
Right.
they do. So
I'm with you, Jay, man. If you guys are listening, you need a hand, give us a call.
yeah,
We're always on the other end. And Jay, that it's always tough, man. I was in the military and you see these guys, they're really struggling. You go through a lot of times and you're trained over and over, don't ask for help. But
yeah,
then when they break down enough that they need help and then the VA or somebody lets them fall through the gap, it's difficult. It's
exactly.
difficult. And
Yeah.
so guys, if you're listening, man, never hesitate. Never hesitate to reach out to someone.
Yes, sir. Well, Jay, we go through the podcast, and the hour goes by just so quickly.
That was
Yeah.
Would
quick.
would
Yeah.
would you be willing to come back on the podcast later on, maybe after turkey season or before deer season, and we could
Hey,
chat some
let
more?
me tell you, if you call me tomorrow and say, "Hey, let's do this tomorrow," I'll clear my schedule.
Let's do it.
Anytime that you all want me on here, I am on here because this has been fun. I like doing it. Like I said, I'm a talker. My wife sometimes says I talk too much, and I usually don't meet
No.
strangers, but yeah, anytime. You guys want me on here, I'll make sure I'm available. I got a lot
Well,
of vacation days and stuff like that too. So
we sure appreciate everything you do for the community and that you,
Absolutely.
that you do for us as well. And Mike, you want to take us out of the podcast today?
Yeah, man. Jay, thank you for taking extra time to come on. And we would love you. We're going to take you up on that offer, dude. We're going to have you back on. And that's what it's about. It's just about sharing the community. Keep doing what you're doing, man. I'm just challenging you just with your passion, not only with your faith, with your family, but also in your writing. Like we said, it's becoming a lost art. Don't let it be lost in your family. And like you said, your son's over there taking morning shots now, and you're doing great for prepping that next generation. So, man, thank you for all you doing and for coming on today.
I appreciate it. Thank you all.
Yes, sir. And folks, if you're listening to this podcast, thank you for taking the time. Reach out to us if you need a hand. If you can't get in touch with me or Greg, Jay's available. Never hesitate to reach out to somebody, man. It doesn't make you weaker, actually make you a stronger man if you're willing to reach out to others. Thank you again for listening today.